What's up, guys? Happy May 1st. We got day baseball today. Let's get into it right away. Yesterday, some of you guys might have caught my Twins Phillies two-day parlay plus 152-ish. The Phillies got lucky in the ninth inning to have an Angels bullpen collapse and come back. So thankfully we cashed that big play of the day there. But yesterday doesn't matter. It's a new month now, so let's start it off strong. Let's try to have a good May. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. If you like this content, you want to see more content, you want to see more videos, picks videos, whatever, the more engagement that I get, the more it shows me that people are actually watching and want to see and get this info and stuff. Subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, because videos get dropped randomly, live streams go randomly, so nothing is really planned. It's a little bit more sporadic because that's we go as information comes out. We try to do with the best of the information we can get to. So without further ado, don't forget to drop your MLB picks in the comments. But let's get into it. I don't want to waste you guys' time here. All right, first game up, we're going to go to Detroit, where they will take on this last game of the series here. They split the doubleheader. In my opinion, doubleheaders are just really hard to bet. Other than, you can bet the first game, but it's unknown in the second game. Personally, I think Detroit should have won both games. Jack Flaherty was absolutely dazzling. This Cardinals team is striking out 31.3% of the time over the last week versus right-handed pitching. Jack Flaherty yesterday, I think he had like 12 or 14 strikeouts. He was just striking out batters left and right. Now you get two righties going here. Miles Mikolas, Kenta Maeda. Miles Mikolas is not my favorite pitcher. He can give up lots of hard contact. He's given up 4 home runs in his last 9 innings. He has recorded about 10 strikeouts. Just 10 and a third innings, 10 strikeouts. Kenta Maeda on the other side, he can also give up the ball too. He's given up 3 home runs in one game twice this year. That was to the Texas Rangers and the White Sox. So one good team and one below average team, in my opinion. His last outing, though, was good. 5 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts, no earned runs, 3 hits. As far as taking a side on this one, I think the Cardinals are struggling. I think the morale is a little low in their clubhouse. Something seems a little bit off with them if you're watching them. Whereas the Tigers, I like this Tigers team a little bit more. Wenzel Perez, the call up for the Tigers, has been on fire. He's basically just trying to keep his roster spot. Wenzel, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's trying not to get sent back down to AAA. He's from Toledo, but he's already batting 302. He's been just raking in good at bats and stuff. So honestly, this whole Tigers team, there's lots of guys that I like on this Tigers team. They can steal bases, they can get hits, they can hit the long ball. Mark Canha, Riley Green can hit for power. You got lots of really good guys. I actually like this Tigers team. I trust them in their bullpen a little bit more. The Cardinals have some good guys in their bullpen. And yesterday being a doubleheader does suck because guys get used a lot more in that. But in a pick'em game, I'm gonna lean to the home team in this one. All right, the Brewers-Rays game. At the time of recording this, it is currently 4:38 a.m. I am not currently going to bet this game. There's lots of unknowns that could happen in this game. We've seen a brawl, an actual fist-throwing brawl yesterday. Bench is clear, tempers flared. This could spew over. We could see potentially players getting sit. I think Gary Sanchez is out for this one too. He looked like something to do with his leg or some hamstring, maybe something like that. So it's unknown who's going to be in the lineup for Milwaukee. So it's really hard to make an informed decision not knowing what's going to happen. The Rays are slight favorites. The line's been dropping actually in Milwaukee's favor. You get 2 righties going, Zach Eflin and Colin Rea. Colin Rea last start, not good. He three home runs given up, only 4 strikeouts in 6 innings. That was to a really hard-hitting Yankees team. The Brewers did win that game in the 10th inning, but still, that's pretty concerning. He's given up 5 home runs in his last 16 and 2/3 innings. And then you got Zach Eflin. He hasn't really been Zach Eflin form. He did have 4 strikeouts in 6 innings, giving up a home run his last outing, and then 6 strikeouts, 6 innings before that with no earned runs. So he's had He's kind of alternating somewhat decent starts to, all right starts for Zach Eflin. He's not peak Zach Eflin form. In this one, I would lean to the Brewers if I was going to. I don't like Colin Rea. Honestly, I maybe would lean to the under or the over at 8, but I'm not betting this game. I just wanted to let you guys know. Just be careful with this one. Wait till you see the lineups because you never know what's going to happen. Maybe a lean to the over at this point, but I'm not betting this game right at this moment. I don't really want to bet the Rays really at minus 120 or whatever the number is right now. I'd rather take the Brewers, the chance with the Brewers that they win, but it's hard to know what's going to happen until, close to first pitch. So I'm just passing on this game right now. All right, going to Guaranteed Rate Field where the White Sox host the Twins. The Twins have now moved to 6-0 versus the White Sox this season, but the White Sox are covering that plus 1.5 line. They've done it in 2 straight games now, losing each game by 1 run. They've done it in 3 of 6 games so far this season. As far as the White Sox as a team, they've done it in 5 straight games. 3 of those they won outright as underdogs. Honestly, this one I don't love Chris Flexen, but Bailey Ober, his strikeout line's at 5.5, and it's juiced to the under, which is kind of interesting to see because he's covered that. He's went over 5.5 strikeouts in 3 of his last 4 starts. He had 8 strikeouts in 7 1/3 innings, only gave up 2 earned runs, no home runs. He did have 3 walks given up, but that's true. That's pretty much Bailey Ober form right there. The Twins won that game 5-3. It was versus the Angels. He's getting strikeouts. Chris Flexen on the other side, not getting the strikeouts. His strikeout numbers are pretty low. He can give up the long ball. So I'm going with it was his 25th birthday yesterday. He didn't catch one yesterday. The wind was blowing in a little bit. He got some strikeout, but I'm going with the young gun, the 25-year-old Edward Julien to hit a home run. He's got 1 home run and 1 at bat versus Chris Flexen. The wind is blowing out 14 miles an hour right out to left center field. Edward Julien has 6 home runs versus right-handed pitching this season. He is only batting like 220 versus righties, but he does still have 6 home runs and 11 RBIs. He hits for power, so he strikes out. He can strike out a couple times a game, but he's batting in the top 3, top 2. Usually he hits in the second spot. So I can see him catching Chris Flexen or potentially this White Sox bullpen. If I was going to take a side on this one, I don't really want to lay minus 200 with the Twins. The White Sox at plus 1.5 at plus 105 might not be a bad bet, but it's just my only concern with is whether the Chris Flexen can keep the White Sox in it long enough. If he can stay within yesterday the White Sox had a lead going into the 5th inning. After the 5th inning, they were up 4-2, and then their bullpen kind of squandered it. And then in the 9th inning, the Twins took the lead, and the White Sox couldn't recover. So they ended up losing 6-5 yesterday. But the White Sox could have won that game outright. It was kind of scary, actually. So I'm going to take the White Sox plus 1.5. It's just only because it's plus money. I think Julien though could hit a home run in this one. This might change as the hours go on, but I'm just not going to lay minus 200 with a team straight up that is just barely beating this team right now. So maybe a little bit mismatch as far as the pitching matchup goes, but the White Sox are still hitting 278 versus right-handed pitching the last 7 days, 23.4% K rate. That's over 270 plate appearances. The Twins hitting 282 versus right-handed pitching, 21.3% K rate. So these are, good sample sizes over the last week. So both of these teams are actually hitting right-handed pitching pretty well. So honestly, White Sox plus 1.5 might not be a bad bet, but I think Edward Julien could tag one here. If I was going to go to the other side, I'd probably look at Eloy Jimenez, like I said, or Andrew Benintendi. Benintendi, I think he hit one yesterday, I believe. Benintendi batting .231 in his career with 2 RBIs and 13 at-bats versus Bailey Ober. Eloy Jimenez has a home run and 15 at-bats, batting .267, 20% K rate. So Eloy Jimenez, with the wind blowing out, I could see him catching one. He should be hitting in the 3 or 4 spot. He might be hitting cleanup. Obviously, don't have lineups out yet, but if I was going to take two guys to hit home runs, I'd probably go Jimenez, Julian. If I was going to take one other one from the Twins, it would probably be Ryan Jeffers. All right, at Rogers Center here in the Jays Royals, the rubber match. Kansas City has won 4 of 6 meetings so far this season. Toronto has fallen to what I think they won 2 out of 5 games on this homestand of 6-game homestand. So they're trying to salvage to 50-50. Right now, they're below 50-50 on the season. They're 15-16 straight up. Kansas City's won 18 of 31 games. They had a great April. This Kansas City team does rely heavily on their top 4 guys in the lineup, but you got Seth Lugo going against Chris Bassett, and Chris Bassett can give up lots. I mean, Seth Lugo's been lucky in some spots. Chris Bassett, his last outing, 7 earned runs, 2 2/3 innings, 2 home runs. I mean, that was to a really potent Dodgers team, but still. Then at the time before that, 4 strikeouts in 5 1/3 innings, 3 walks with a home run given up. I mean, that's kind of average Chris Bassett type stuff. Nothing like too crazy. Seth Lugo, 9 strikeouts and 7 shutout innings versus the Tigers last outing. He's kind of alternated some all right starts with some bad, he only had 1 strikeout in 5 1/3 innings, gave up 4 earned runs to the Baltimore Orioles. I think 2 of those were home runs, or 2 or 3 of those runs were home runs. But honestly, looking at these two teams, the Blue Jays are struggling right now versus righties. I've said it before in these videos but they're hitting 207 and they're striking out more than they should be. This team is chasing. They're trying to hit every ball out of the park, it seems. They're trying to hit for power, and they're striking out a lot more than they should be. They are usually known for not striking out as much. Now you get the Royals, 12.5% K rate, lots of plate appearances versus righties, and they're still hitting 252. Now they're not slugging the ball out of the park crazy in recent games or anything. This Kansas City team does rely heavily on, guys like Salvador Perez, top of the lineup guys, Bobby Witt Jr. So the bottom of the lineup for these guys has to kind of get going. Nelson Velasquez, Hunter Renfroe, those guys, Michael Massey, some of those guys in the bottom of the lineup, they have to start getting going a little bit more to help this Royals team actually do something. But honestly, I got to go with the Royals at plus money here. I don't trust either one of these bullpens. The Jays bullpen has given up 19 home runs this season, has a 4.76 ERA. The Royals bullpen has given up 7 home runs, 3.44 ERA, 1.36 WHIP. So, I mean, if you're looking at the bullpens together, I mean, I trust the Royals bullpen a little bit more. I still don't trust the Royals bullpen a lot, but they're not giving up the long ball like this Jays team is. So, honestly, at plus money, I think I got to go with the Royals. I mean, I'm seeing the Blue Jays will probably be one of the sharp chasers of the day because the Royals are starting to get a little bit more public now that they've had a decent record. But in the rubber match, the Royals are just owning the Blue Jays, and I think they could get to Bassett potentially in this game. It's probably going to be another low-scoring one like we've seen. We've seen, some pretty low-scoring games, 5 runs, 3-2, 3-2, 2-1. That 2-1 game was only 5-inning game, so it doesn't really count. But lots of these matchups, 2-7-1 to the under. We see lots of lower-scoring games. Yesterday was 4-1. But I got to go with the Royals at plus money. All right, going to Oakland, where the Oakland takes on the Pirates. This Pirates team has been very unimpressive. The thing that they lack is offense. They just can't score. You look at their last 10 games, the most they've scored is 5 runs in a 7-5 loss. They won a game 4-3 versus the Giants, but on this California homestand, they've scored 0 runs, they've scored 4 runs, they've scored 2, they've scored 1, and they've scored 2. In their last 10 games, they've scored 1, 2, 2, 0, 2, 2, 1. So their just offense is struggling. Connor Joe hit a home run yesterday. JJ Bleday hit 2 home runs yesterday for the Athletics. And Mason Miller in the bullpen was absolutely dominant again. He's throwing that 102-mile-an-hour fastball, striking batters out. Quinn Priester in this one, he had 6 strikeouts in 6 innings versus the Giants, 1 walk. So it's actually a solid outing, his last outing. I mean, it was to a Giants team. You got to kind of take that with what it is. Ross Stripling, he's been up and down. He doesn't really get a lot of strikeouts, but he limited damage last time to the Oakland. He gave up a solo home run, or to Baltimore to give up a solo home run. They won that game 3-2. Look, you're giving me plus money with the A's. I get it. It's hard to sweep a team. It's harder to sweep a team in a 4-game series, but on a 3-game series, I'm still seeing the A's at plus 105 at the best number at places. But I mean, consensus, you should be able to get plus 100 even money, minus 105 even. But like a Pirates team that can't score, an A's bullpen that's been solid. The Pirates are also the worst in the league right now versus right-handed pitching. 174 average, 26% K rate. They're not slugging the ball. They're hitting for the worst average right now in the league over the last week. Oakland Athletics are in the middle. They're 221 average. I mean, they are striking out quite a bit, but they're also getting on base. Like they're walking. Their slugging and OPS numbers aren't bad. Obviously, this isn't a huge power team, but you're going to give me plus money with Athletics again. They've been rolling along. I've silently cashed them 2 days in a row. Took them yesterday on the video, but I got to go back to them here. This Pirates team, I think this could be another low-scoring game. It could be, 3-2, 4-2 type game. But I think in the end, Oakland it does get it done. The wind is blowing out. We're seeing like a 12-mile-an-hour kind of out to right center type wind. But Oakland is still more of a pitcher-friendly ballpark. So I got to go with the A's money line though. All right, going to this Phillies game. Yesterday I was pretty mad at the Phillies watching that game to when they blew that lead late in the game, and then they started to come back in the 8th, and then they had 2 runners on, and then they didn't get to take the tire that's the lead. It ended up coming in the 9th inning, multiple home runs. This Angels team, with Mike Trout out now, he's got to have knee surgery. I thought Philly would get a little bit easier win than they got. It was a back and forth game. They blew a 3-run lead, but in the end, they got the 7-5 win. Thankfully, they faced another lefty here in Patrick Sandoval. Phillies are sending Zach Wheeler. Wheeler's been solid. 8 strikeouts, 10 strikeouts his last 3 outings. He pitched a shutout in 6 innings his last outing versus the Reds. 8 shutout innings versus the White Sox. 4 earned runs versus the Pirates, but he had 10 strikeouts in that one. Sandoval's been kind of average. He's given up home runs in back-to-back starts. As far as the Phillies hitting lefties, they're middle of the pack, 252 average, 11% walk rate, 25.4% K rate. Angels are hitting righties at in the middle of the pack as well. They're striking out a lot. That's the issue. So I think Zach Wheeler racks up the strikeouts here. As far as the weather, it looks like 9 to 10 mile an hour winds blowing straight out. I think Zach Wheeler limits the damage here. I see the Phillies getting a win in this one. Again, I don't trust the bullpen too much, but I think they have quite an advantage as far as the starting pitching. I think their lineup is much better, and the Angels without Mike Trout definitely hurts them. Some other guys got to step up now. So I'm just going to go with the Phillies. They have covered the run line in 7 of their last 10 games, so -1.5. 7 of their last 10 games, the Angels have failed to cover the run line in 7 of their last 10 games. The Angels have lost 8 of their last 10 games. So, I mean, the Phillies is pretty heavily juiced. I think they get an easy win here. I think the Angels are limited to – I don't think the Angels score more than 4 runs in this game, but Alec Boehm has been solid. He continues to get hits. He's got 17 RBIs versus left-handed pitching, only an 8.9% K rate. So if you're going to look at player props versus lefties, I think Alec Boehm is your guy. 375 average with 2 home runs. As far as versus Patrick Sandoval, they don't have a ton of batter versus pitcher history. Most of them have just seen him 2 to 3 times, so nothing too crazy there. But I think Wheeler has a good outing. I think the Phillies get another win. The momentum from last night carries over. That was a big win, comeback from behind win. They're the first team to reach 20 wins on the season. And this Angels team is just, I don't have a ton of faith in them. They're just very sporadic. You just never know when they're going to win. So I think the Phillies get it done again today. Even though I was mad at them yesterday, they ended up pulling through. So I'm going to ride the Phillies with the momentum here and take the Phillies on this one. All right, going to Petco Park where the Joe Musgrove goes for the Padres, Graham Ashcraft for the Reds. If I was going to pick a side in this one, I would probably take the Reds just at the plus 120 at the value alone. Do I like them right now as a team overall? Not overly. Joe Musgrove, maybe he bounces back. He gave up four home runs in his last outing. He gave up two that one before that, the one before that. So he's been giving up the long ball. His strikeout numbers have been way down. He's, 4 strikeouts, 3 strikeouts, 5 strikeouts. So his 3 starts this season, he's only had 4 strikeouts at the most. He's given up 7 home runs in like 16 innings, 13 earned runs. So I don't know. Well, Joe Musgrove has just been regressing, or maybe something's off. And Graham Ashcraft on the other side, he's given up home runs in back-to-back starts. 3 strikeouts in 6 1/3 innings. That was only a 2-1 game, but that was more due to Texas' lack of offense. They just couldn't get any other guys on base at home. He gave up 7 hits there. He gave up 5 hits in his last outing before that. 7-5 game. Look, I'm just going with the over at 8. If I was going to take a side, like I said, the value would be on the Reds. Their numbers aren't the greatest versus righties. I mean, they're batting in the low 200s, whereas the Padres are hitting 290 versus righties with a 20% strikeout rate. But lots of Elly De La Cruz has been great. 7 of his 8 home runs have come off right-handed pitching. He's got a 299 average, 16 RBIs. There's some good guys on this Reds team that can hit. Elly De La Cruz also has a 19% barrel rate, wind blowing out 9 to 10 miles an hour. On the other side, I like Jake Cronenworth. I could see Jake Cronenworth actually hitting a home run here. He's got 4 home runs and 20 RBIs. So if you don't want to take him for a home run, maybe take him for an RBI. I could see him hitting for an RBI. 4 home runs, 20 RBIs, 310 average versus right-handed pitching this season. He's got a 12% barrel rate. He usually hits around the 3 spot, sometimes the 4 spot, sometimes the 5 spot. It depends on how he's hitting, but he should be in the 3 spot, I would think, for this game. So Jurickson, Profar, Tatis, pretty much anybody that's in front of him is capable of getting on base. He's able to bring them in. I like Jake Cronenworth. I could see Cronenworth hitting one here, but I'm just going to go with the over. I think there's value on this over. The computer model likes it a little bit too. It does like the Padres, but I'm just not going to go with the Padres. They got the win yesterday. I just think we see some scoring. So just give me the over here. All right, going to this Cubs-Mets game. Shota Umanga has been absolutely lights out. And then you get Jose Butto. He's been all right, but his hard hit percentage is up. He can give up lots of hard hits. Honestly, this Cubs team, I don't like the fact that they're missing Cody Bellinger. I think that kind of hurts them a little bit, but I still like this. And Seiya Suzuki, both those injuries definitely hurt this Cubs team. They could have had a really good chance of doing something this season, but I think that those 2 guys out, this will make it a little bit harder. But so far, the series is split 1-1. The Mets got the win yesterday. This has been 2 low-scoring games, 4-2 and 3-1. I think we probably see another low-scoring game, but in the end, I think the Cubs can get this one done. Umanga, Umanga, however you say his name, I'm probably butchering it. Shota Umanga, they're 5-0 in his starts. He's been dominant. So it's kind of hard to go against a guy that's not giving up. He's given up home runs, 1 home run, a solo home run in Fenway, which I mean is surprising. First time pitching in Fenway, he only gave up 1 solo home run to Tyler O'Neill. And I mean, it probably wouldn't have happened if he didn't leave that pitch over the plate where he was trying to hit the one corner and he just missed it a little bit. And then he gave up a home run to Miami. But honestly, 3 earned runs in 5 starts. His strikeout numbers are good. The Mets are striking out a little bit more. Give me the Cubs at the slight money line favorite. I think he's just a better pitcher, and I don't like Butto's hard hit rate that much. Going to this Guardians Astros game. What a crazy game that was yesterday. Victor Caratini walks it off in I think it was the bottom of the 10th inning. Now you got Tristan McKenzie and Justin Verlander. Verlander, since his rehab start, his last outing, kind of typical Verlander fashion, 7 strikeouts. He only went 4 1/3 innings. So he's not going crazy deep into these games. I think they're still going to kind of ease him into it, depending on how he's pitching. He did give up 4 walks in that one. They ended up losing 3-1 to Chicago in that game. Tristan McKenzie, 7 strikeouts in 4 innings his last outing. A guy that's still not going to go too crazy deep into games. But, I mean, the Astros are big money line favorites like they were yesterday. So I'm taking the Guardians plus 1.5 instead of laying the juice with the Astros. I think the Guardians could keep this game close, if not win it outright. Plus 1.5 for the Guardians at like minus 130. Yeah, give me that. I'm not gonna lay the juice with the Astros at this time. All right, finally, we're going to look at right now is the Nationals Rangers. Andrew Heaney, the lefty, going for the Rangers, and then you got Trevor Williams, the righty, going for the Nationals. Trevor Williams, the Nationals have been getting wins in his starts. He has faced a couple of easier opponents: the Marlins, the Giants, the Pirates. Andrew Heaney's faced some tougher opponents. Obviously, you got the Braves, Astros twice, the Mariners, but he's given up 2 home runs in back-to-back starts. And I believe both those starts were at home, too, where he's at here. So his strikeout numbers are all right. I think he could give up another home run here. The Nationals are hitting, 258 versus left-handed pitching over the last week. That's over 100 plate appearances, too, so it's not a small sample size. Texas is hitting, I think it was in the 200s, 209 versus right-handed pitching. Honestly, I don't really want to lay the juice with the Rangers here, but they did get a big win yesterday, 7-1. I figured they would win that game pretty easily, but this one could go either way. I don't mind the value on the Nationals because I could see them getting to Andrew Heaney, but I'm just going to go with CJ Abrams to hit a home run. He's got 3 home runs, batting .410, I think it is right now, versus left-handed pitching. He's got a just over 10% barrel rate. He's got 9 RBIs, a 1.316 OPS, so I don't mind him. He usually hits top of the lineup around first or second in the lineup, so I could see him tagging Andrew Heaney here. I like the number. I like his chances. 4 or 5 at-bats to potentially get to one of these guys, and either if he doesn't get to Heaney, maybe in the bullpen. As far as a side, I can't really get to a side one way or another at this moment. I like the value and the price with the Nationals, but I don't know if for sure they can get it done or not. It's a tough one, honestly. There's a few tough games. Even that Dodgers D-backs games are kind of a tough one too. Dodgers lost yesterday into 10th inning after a big delay. I don't know. There's some tough games on the slate, but give me CJ Abrams to hit a home run in this one. Obviously, this is a long shot, but I like the number on it. He's been hot. He's been the hottest hitter for this Nationals team. The other guy is Nick Senzel for the Nationals, but he's got 2 home runs versus lefties this year, batting .250. It's just a smaller sample size. So I'm going CJ Abrams. You get a way bigger number with Nick Senzel. But I got to go CJ to hit a home run here. All right, that's all I got for you guys. I know this video came out late, but we're still got 28 minutes. There's some value in here. If you did find some value in it, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on. Don't forget to drop your MLB picks in the comments. Best of luck with whatever you're wagering on. Thanks for watching. As always, guys, I'll see you in the next video.